Hi, ich bin Elie Chevillet. Herzlich willkommen bei Queer Voices, der Podcast, der queeren Menschen in Augsburg und der Welt eine Stimme gibt.
Desperté con tu mirada de diseño, justamente cuando estaba entrando al sueño. Transparente me invitaste a lo siguiente, tu sensualidad era como serpiente. Y te dije, ¿por qué no te dije? Si me dejas te convierto en alebrije. Y si te dejas, vamos a contemplar la tormenta en que nos vamos a mojar.
Today, I'm super excited to have María Moctezuma on the show. María is a singer-songwriter and an activist from Mexico. She blends ancestral sounds with powerful political messages. Today, she's based in Germany. Her music is deeply rooted in Maya culture and explores themes of identity, decolonization, and resistance. María sings over layered vocal loops and traditional instruments, creating soundscapes that are both ancient and radically present. She calls her music Sonido Raizoso, sound of the roots, and through it she brings feminist, queer, and indigenous stories to the stage. Her performances are pretty mind-blowing. María is not just making music, she's reclaiming space. Hi María.
Hi Elie.
Thanks a lot for being here today. I'm so happy to have you on the show.
Thank you very much. I'm also very happy to be here in your podcast. I feel privileged.
Want to quickly share who you are, your pronouns, and how you identify?
My name is María Moctezuma. I'm lesbian.
You grew up in Villahermosa, the capital city of Tabasco in southeastern Mexico. What was that like for you?
Yeah, it was interesting. It's a part of Mexico with very warm weather. It's also a part of Mexico where is a lot of oil. And then is the industry of oil is a savage industry. And the consequence is that the city have a view from a perspective like only business area. And that is interesting because the people is like very work people, but it's also a little bit problematic when the city is with this visualization only for make money, you know, because the consequence for the cities is that the state don't have the money because the money is in the north or in the capital, for example. No? And yeah, have interesting forms to think in my state.
Did you feel that already as a child? That it was
No. Right now.
How was that as a child? Did you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I have a brother and I have a cousin. She's like my sister. We grew up together. And yeah.
How was life as a kid in Tabasco?
Always, because for the same reason that I explained you, it's also a bit danger city.
Okay.
No? And then I think the mind of my parents was a bit taking a lot of care of me, also of my brother. And I don't remember so much moments of when I was very child, you know. I remember to play football, no, in the street where I grew up. I played a lot of games of my brother and my sister. She loved at that moment the Barbies. And she always wanted to give me her Barbies, but I didn't like it. Yeah. I prefer the cars of my brother or the football, something like that.
And when you say that it was a dangerous city, does it mean that your parents didn't want you to go out alone, or?
Yeah, no. I never was alone until university.
Okay.
I was always with my father. He always bring me to the school.
Okay.
Also, when I finished the time of the school every day, he went for me.
What did you study at university?
Communication.
Okay. Maria, what does being queer mean to you?
I just think that is the consequence of the freedom. Because right now, it's like in the long time ago, when the institution of the heteronormativity wasn't not in the system. It was like the queer freedom, no? About the sexuality.
When did you first realize you were queer?
I was 10 years old. Yeah, when I, for first time, or is what I remember earlier in my life. In my school, but not in my same classroom, in another, a bit older than me, one step more than mine. I always was attentive to two girls, especially. It was the first moment. I was, before went to the school, I was super motivated to go.
To see them?
To see them, yeah. Yeah, it was funny because, I mean, I never talked with them, but I had my friends in my classroom, but these two girls especially, I don't know what happened at that moment.
And how did you feel about it when you realized, oh, I like them?
I didn't realize in that moment. I think in that moment of my life, I started to ask, what is it, no? Or I don't know. But I remember one time I asked to my sister, and her answer was like with a bit afraid and something like, no, this is super bad, no? And for the first time, I think I heard the word lesbian, because I asked something and her answer was this word with some bad feeling. And I feel like, oh, so it's bad what I'm thinking, no? And then I think the next moment was in the 15 years, in the adolescence, no? When I start to recognize, like, yes, I'm lesbian or bisexual, or I don't know, but I'm sure that I'm feeling this.
Did you talk with your friends or your parents about it?
Yes, when I was 15, I started to recognize the situation, and I talked with two of my nearest friends. But at that moment, I was in a Catholic school, with some of the teachers was sisters, and the students, we were only women. And then I talked to my friends, but the consequence was that a few days after I talked, I started to feel something weird with the other students. In some moment, nobody wanted to talk to me.
Oh, wow.
Nobody, my friend. And I was like, what's happening? No? It was like for this conversation with my friends, no? Yeah, and for the same of the Catholic ideology that I grew up, and my family is super Catholic, and I was like super scary, like if before I have from my sister this answer that is something
Bad.
Something bad, exactly. And now it's happening that in my school. And I remember I can't sleep. No, I can't sleep. And I prayed in the night. It was super scary, yeah.
And what happened after that?
Yeah, a teacher, something like coordination of something. One time I remember she told me that I would go out a moment from the classroom. Let's go to do blah, blah, no? And okay, I went because I didn't was this kind of person, that some very social people, the teachers select some students to do always some activities for them, no? I was not this person, no? I was super quiet, etc. But that was a surprise for me, but I was like happy to this contemplation of the teacher, but it was weird. And then I did what she told me immediately, and I back immediately, and I saw her from out of the classroom, and she was like, blah, blah, blah. It's very angry, talking with the students, with the girls. And she didn't permit at that moment that I came in the classroom. And yeah, then only 2 girls of my friends came to me and say, I'm sorry, blah, blah, no? But then the situation was not really different. Because everybody, we are adolescent. And when we are adolescents, we don't feel afraid to anything. So we sometimes do hard stuff with our friends, even when we are friends, no? Yeah, but it was something very nice to learn, no, for me.
What was nice in this experience?
Yeah, right now, like 20, 30 years after, it's something nice. Because I think the hardest experience are the best, the best teachers of life.
What did it teach you?
To don't feel afraid about some bullying, no? Because that was something like that. No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is bullying, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think this kind of experience make the people starker, no?
Stronger.
Stronger.
And you said that you grew up in a very Catholic family. What did that mean for you?
With all this ideology to be studied or be someone through the studies, and then marriage, and then have kids, and then the traditional that woman is in the house, no, and the man is working and going to the church. No.
Did your family accept that you didn't follow this path?
No, of course no. No. Well, I think especially for my mother was especially complicated. My father, he died already. But my mother, she's always, I understand her because she's afraid that I will go to the
hell.
To hell, yeah. This is her problem. And of course, I think if I really thinking that my doctor going to hell, of course, I'm afraid, no? I understand her.
Maria, did you grow up with queer role models?
I have someone very interesting that it was not my idol, but she was a trans person, because where I grew up is a part of Mexico with oil and danger and blah blah, and very close of my house was a porn cinema.
Okay.
And obviously there's some prostitution around, no? And I remember a lot Lupe. She was a very, very interesting person. He was like I don't know if trans but he was obviously a man who sometimes put dresses of women and makeup and stuff. And I always wanted to see her, Yeah, but he or she also received a lot of bad sounds, I don't know how he or how she felt, because I was very child. I don't know how old, but yeah, I was child.
Did you ever talk to this person?
No, never. I always wanted, but I was always with my parents and it was difficult,
Maria, what would you like to say to your younger self?
That everything is fine, Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How important is queerness in your everyday environment?
It's very important, because if I'm not accepted this part of my life and in my community and stuff, yeah, I think it's complicated, because it's something what I always say, because also like artist, I think is very important to the position of the identity, because we have like you have this podcast, another person going to hear the podcast, and you have a lot of responsibility, It's what I also think in the music, because it was very difficult for me, for example, to accept completely that I want to show this part of my life. At the beginning, I thought it's not necessary. And also, for example, for my job, the music, I thought, no, because less people going to hear my music. But at the end, little by little, I have like 15 years in the music with this project that I have. And little by little, I think more and more that is very important, because we are the possibility for another persons, or another generations, younger generation, or maybe older generations. Mm-hmm. Many people start to have the courage I have some friends that they have 60 years old, and say me, how can I find a woman? They can't. And yeah, we are maybe in some episode of your podcast, they have something necessarily off and something necessarily on. So it's very important. Mm-hmm.
What made you change your mind?
Many experience, my friend. I think all that bullying I had in the school was a part like, okay, this is support that shit of bullying. This is only this. I don't care. I can, But of course, this I don't care that I'm saying now. I had to do many bad experience. For example, one of my main channels, for fortune, my friend, I have the music in my life, because it was a very strong tool for me. But I had another ways. My first way, when you feel frustration, was the cutting. So if you see my body, I used all this. Mira, I show you.
Okay. I think it's called scarification.
Scarification.
Mm-hmm.
It was the favorite part, because it was easier for my right hand. But I have scarification in my stomach, in this leg here. And in some moment, I said it's more and more, because then I needed to receive, ¿cómo se dice? Stitch, because it was more open or more grave, more and more. And also I had some difficulties for the rehab, Many things that I don't know, I think was consequence of the first
This first bullying experience?
Yeah, but also coming from your education, no? From the education of my parents, also very conservative. They didn't know how to do it. But yes, I think right now, in retrospective, I have a lot of music about it, but not literally. I'm telling about it because it's my most important, no? Of course, my wife, no? Of course, also, yeah.
Would you say that you started scarification after this very hard experience at school?
Yes, immediately after it.
Yeah. Maria, does the word community mean something to you?
Of course, the community, I think, it's the family. Especially, I think, in our community, LGBTQ+. I think that is the reason why we celebrate with that word, no? Or we have very present this word, because many people from the community don't have the support from family. And this movement from Canada with the dance, with the houses, Vogue, this movement, they was like family, no? Yeah, I think, yeah.
What do you love doing?
I love to have time with my wife, and I love to do music. One of my most happy moments in my life is when I doing a concert. No, yeah, but also the process of recording music, I enjoy a lot.
Have you recording many albums already?
4 albums, and I have a new single from my next album. Yeah.
What inspires you?
Many things, but I always interested in cultural aspects. In Mexico, for example, I inspired a lot about the indigenous. I love to go to the villages to hear how they speak Maya or how they cook. But here in Europe, I think something is changing because I don't have these people. But I feel very nice when I have time with the people in the Sprachcafé. Yeah, practicing Deutsch.
Nice. Your music mixes traditional instruments with modern sounds, and you've even created your own genre, Sonido Raizoso, or Sounds of the Roots. What does that mean to you, and how did this sound come to life?
I think the artists, we have message from another dimensions, like the dimension where are coming the idea that you do your podcast, no? Something like that. Because this word raizoso is not really a word. It's some form to joke and talk, transforming words, you know?
So why did you choose to call your music like that?
I wanted to do a band with this name. But then the way to start to really organizing me with musicians or meeting more musicians took time. And then I said what I have to do with this concept, not a band. But I thought that it's interesting, the word for call the mix of rhythms, the mix of cultural instruments.
Have you ever played in a band? Or were you always... Ah, okay. Back then in Mexico?
In Mexico. When I start in the music, I played in a band. Actually, in the school, I played always in the coro. Always my job was in the music. That's why I say that it's like my angel, the music, and my main tool. But also is some way very easy to do a chaotic life, no? For the possibility.
You mean when you're an artist that life has less structure?
Yes.
before you talked about the Maya culture.
Mm-hmm.
The Maya are one of the most important indigenous cultures of Mexico and Central America. Over 6 million Maya people live across the region, speaking dozens of Maya languages, keeping traditions alive, and resisting the lasting impact of colonization. Maria, you're a Maya yourself. As a Maya woman and artist, how do you carry that heritage with you in a world still shaped by colonial structures?
My genetic is from Aztecan. My last name, Moctezuma, is from the king. When the invasors went to Mexico, Hernán Cortés, they find each other. And it was the last kingdom or the last leader from our culture, original culture. But where I was born is from Olmecas. And when in Yucatan, where I made all my last part of my life before Germany, is Maya. And is the area where I start to do my own music. That's why I have a lot of love to the Mayan culture.
Okay.
In Mexico, when you have a last name from Indigenous, it's a little bit hard because the colonization made that originary everything is an element to shy, no? Little by little, we are recovering more and more proud to our dance, ancestral dance or ancestral cloth or many symbols. But imagine this happened more than 500 years ago. And we are recovering our proud little by little this last decade or something. But to grow up with Moctezuma as last name, from my family, they are not super proud about the last name. So I see that always. But then when I change to the state, from Villahermosa to Yucatan, to Mérida, Yucatan, this state is super cultural and super taking care of the traditional dance, the Mayan language, the clothes. Many people in the street, for example, when it's a wedding or something special, the most elegant clothes that the people in Yucatan select is the traditional one, no? Yeah. So I find that very nice, and that make me something in my mind about the proud, no? Because it's super cool that how I saw in Yucatan, how the people feel very proud to the clothes or to the poctapoc we have in the Mayan culture, our own sport.
Ah, okay, what is that?
Poctapoc is the name. It's a Mayan originally, and it's a bowl of como latex. Many capas of hule.
Many layers of latex?
Yeah, exactly. It's a bowl and like 15 kilos heavy. And people move the bowl with the hips.
Okay.
And then this bowl have to cross a hole like 2 meters.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I saw all that and my spirit was super happy about my last name. But of course, that was little by little, no? Mm-hmm. And also in Yucatan, they have a lot of authors from Yucateca, and some traditional jarana Yucateca is called the music. Mm-hmm. And they are super proud of them musicians, and yeah. And then I start to have more work with my family line of this last name. Mm-hmm. And also with my own searching to the way of the music, experimenting the instrument, the pre-Hispanic instrument, I start to experiment them in Yucatan. They are very, very important part of my music.
And you said that your parents were not so happy with the name Moctezuma. Was there shame there?
Well, my father don't have any problem with it because this is the last name of my mother. In Mexico, you have two last names.
Okay.
The father and the second is the mother.
Okay.
From the mother.
So you have two last names?
Yes.
Okay.
And yeah, my first is from France, but it was like a bit safe to me from the society that I have this last name because I have two super traditional names and super Catholic names. No, María y Guadalupe. Guadalupe is the Virgin Mexican one, Mexican Virgin, and María the international, no? And then for Virgin, I have, now I feel proud of everything because I have the context, but before I didn't, no? It was also another interesting point to the hard experience, no? But my mother and her family, they said, it's because from last name from Indios, no?
What does it mean?
Indios. It's a bad word to say indigenous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, a slur.
My own family, not from my father. My father didn't have any problem with the last name of my mother, but they said that.
So your mother had shame about her own name.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then, to be honest, my friend, when I saw the artistic interpretations of Moctezuma when I was child and I saw it, I was like excited because it's fantastic. No, I find it fantastic, but it's crazy how your context influence yourself, your mind, but little by little I start to do music with traditional aspects and I say it's much better. My last name from my mother, my second, and the international Virgin, more easier to recognize.
Do you feel that being queer or a lesbian influences your art?
Yes, more and more, because at the beginning it was very complicated. From my first CD, I did a song, but in the queer way, but very soft, poetic way, almost. Almost you don't know if okay. But then in the second CD, I made a song, a romantic song for my ex. And then, this CD, I have a lot of music for my wife. And I love to talk about it because in the music, in Spanish, I don't know how it works in French or English, but in Spanish, many women, like they are obviously singing to another woman, but like if they are man, no? They sing like man, no? And I find that it's fantastic to do. I'm a woman and I'm singing to a woman. What a beautiful, no? Situation.
To do it openly, right?
Claro, and accept and create music or art for this reality, no? Because it's a very nice reality and important one.
It's a great reality.
It's a great reality. Exactly.
I love it. A lot of your work explores decolonial and feminist themes. Have you ever faced pushback in Mexico or elsewhere because of your queerness or the political side of your art?
Not directly, because Mexico, it's a free country. In the real life, you can do whatever you want. I mean, it's obviously complicated. First, for women, in the music is always something. It's a bit another point for this possibility, but...
You mean sexism?
Exactly.
Patriarchal structures.
Yes. But also because Mexico wants to have the friendly face always. They are doing more and more inclusion perspectives. But then are some with a lot of structure, and the consequence is the circles are small for these possibilities, specifically with feminist perspective. I didn't feel directly, never, something
like pushback.
No. I think sometimes because I'm lesbian or because I'm woman, but I cannot say for sure, no?
Yeah, it's not direct. Was it hard to find your place as a woman in the music industry?
Of course, especially when I was starting. I had not a lot of experience, and I told you first I wanted to have a band because I started to promote my own music. I played covers and always in a band with some name, band, blah, blah, no? But when I start to compose my music and to take courses and play with audience, I also had the idea, because in the art is always like, no, I'm not, like modestia, no? It's always that. And so in the music, when the people wants to sing and they compose, it's very complicated to have your own name, like the band. And then I find, maybe Sonido Raizoso. But then the musicians came to me, and then we cannot organize the music because the music is complicated. Now, not like before, but before was more complicated to find women, another that not only sing, but play drums or bass or... And always I worked with men and start very complicated to trying to give the direction, because it was not an orchestra, formal, and just like, let's do this music, no? But the music is like that, no? Or that was complicated. And then when I decide to put my name, and then doesn't matter if I play with this musician or with another. Yeah, it was complicated but interesting, because I had to learn how to talk with them.
A friend of mine who's a musician, she says that being in a band is like being in a very complicated relationship.
Yeah, polyamoroso. Yes, exactly. Because you have to take care about everything. Not only with job constantly and money, but also how you say the details, because the artists, we are more sensitive, no? Or my therapist says that their artists are different to other person. I don't know.
Maria, your wife works at a German university doing research on climate resilience. How does being in a cross-cultural relationship shape your everyday life?
Yeah, it's interesting. Because we are super different. When I met her, if she don't speak Spanish in English, and with our difference, should be impossible to meet her.
Because she speaks Spanish, right?
She speaks Spanish. And also she likes music and she plays some instruments. So at the beginning, that was our first connection, our only connection. Then we developed more and more. And also she's, like you said, an academic person and a musician. Everything is complicated. But when I met her in Mexico, so she have at that moment Mexico vibrations. But then when she back to Germany, when she started the master, she was like another person. Like I met first the person traveling, and then I met the academic person. And I was afraid, to be honest, because she was super serious, no, super concentrated in the master. But it is also very interesting for me because in Mexico, we usually have relations that 24/7 together, no?
Okay.
Almost it's like work in Mexico. Always my relations was like that. And then when I started with Merle and we needed to have months and months separated, it was terrible for me. I was very jealous, for example, no? And then, I'm not anymore. But also, you know how German person are, like very rationally. And I remember when we was separated and I cried a lot. And she said, "Why are you crying so much? We still together, no? Only we cannot touch us, no? But we are together, no?" And for me, it was very difficult to believe that this relation can continue with distance, no? And now it's more and more crazy for me right now that I'm living in Germany, no? Because as I told you, I'm not anymore in 20s, no? And then I need to learn the language because Germany is a very particular country, no? That you need to speak German. Or like Mexican, I need to learn some level of German. But in general, the impact is very interesting because another good learn I have with the cultural situation of my wife is that we are always in good mood to talk. If we are not in the same channel, okay, let's go to talk. If this disappoint is problematic, no?
You mean you have a good communication?
Yeah. And I think I learned it's something cultural, I think, because in Mexico, we are more expressive with our emotions, no? We shout and cry and we love it. And here is more like, let's go to talk, no?
And be quiet.
And be relax, no? And but that was something interesting of our relation.
And you spoke about jealousy. Was it for you hard work to learn to cope this feeling?
I don't know. Also because, like I described the Mexican relations, we learn that everybody have two families, for example. The women are always in the house, but the men have two families or three, but one is the main, no? And then,
so you mean they live with their wife at home and have other women there?
Another kids, no? But then we grow up with that worry always is possible to happen with our partners. And I don't want that to happen. I mean, because I have another relation, open relation, and I did this activity. Actually, that's why I met my wife. I have another person and we start at first 3 persons and then,
So you meant you were in a relationship, then you met your wife. Yeah. And then you had both relationships.
And then with the distance, obviously I thought that I grew up with this ideology and I thought, no, we're gonna cut, we're gonna finish in some point. But we always talk. And little by little, she talked to me that, come on, no, my 2 brothers have the same situation with now they are married also. And she said, no, they studied in another countries and blah, blah, and the relation continue. Here is normal, no? But that, for me, was like 2 years to feel relaxed. The situation was very complicated to let it go.
Yeah. Maria, what's it like for you to live in Germany as a queer person?
Until now, very, very good. I feel safe first. I know that I don't have to have so present in my head that someone gonna rape me or disappear me or take my stuff, no? Because it's a plus when people see you with another girl in Mexico, you transform in more fragile. No?
You can be a target.
Yeah. And here, no. So it's a big impact, no, in my life in Deutschland. I'm also took the course Leben in Deutschland. No, and then I saw a lot of stuff about the history of the country, and I don't know already so much about politics, but I see that it's some right movement that is coming very powerful. But international, I don't know what is really happening in Deutschland. I hear something also in the course, comparing with the history and thinking about what's happening in the United States right now, in Argentina, where are these species of radical right, no?
Yeah, right-wing movements.
And I'm always afraid, but that is not because it's Germany, it's because in all the whole world, because I think here there's a big movement with a nice activism in the political way, in the feminist way, but also I think if the movement is international, it's always that the minorities, we are in more fragility. By the moment, I feel great here, but it's always that something can happen.
How did you feel in Mexico as a queer person?
As I told you, Mexico is like a free country, but this too much free, maybe. Because I can be a free lesbian, but abuser can be a free abuser with some trickies, more and more laws with feminist perspective. We have in the constitution, in the laws, more and more, but it's because the problem is bigger and bigger. I think it's always... You have to be attentive to someone is not watching at you so much in the street. It's always you have to be attentive of the time in the street. If you one woman or two women alone in the street in the night without light, impossible to think.
Okay.
And it's a plus because this kind of crimes, for example, in the LGBT community and the police need to say that is some passional situation, then are situations without justify. But it's tricky, Mexico, the situation.
Is there anything you wish for queer people in Germany or in Mexico?
Of course, I wish that the freedom and it's not some imposition from system, because it's absurd when the system need to put it in the system is because it's something absurd. That is not natural. That should be my big wish. Because, for example, in Mexico, we have an indigenous group we call mushes, and they live like women, but they are super respect person in the indigenous society. And in the history says that before the colonization, have many more of this kind of groups. But the institution of the Catholicism destroyed these indigenous institutions. And yeah, of course, was super chaotic, no? This is my wish, no? But super utopic, no? I mean, it's maybe raw, but I don't know, like the feminist movement, how long time happened to start, no?
You mean it's been a long time that it exists?
That it exists, exactly. And in the 19th, for example, in Mexico, started the vote for women. Is some advances, but super slow. I wish with the reality we have right now that this kind of political, because unfortunately everything comes from the political decisions, no? That the political movement, the people decide is not this extreme right, no?
Maria, is there anything else you'd like to share in this podcast?
I think it's very important when you feel that have something that fascinates you or some passion, you have to do it. I think when we have some problem or something hard to digest mental or emotionally, and when our families or our principal nucleo, it's not working for us, it's the only what we love to do. More than, of course, our community is important, but we have to be strong for us, and then we can help another person. But I think the form to feel us happy and strong is doing our way.
What music is for you?
Is it my angel, my way? Yeah.
Maria, before we wrap up, how about a quickie? Don't worry, it's not about sex. It's just a rapid fire round of questions.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay, yeah. If I understand immediately, hopefully.
If you don't, it's okay.
Okay.
Let's go. The quality you appreciate most in someone else.
The intelligence.
Your greatest quality.
Play guitar.
What makes you happy?
The love.
Something that made you proud lately.
That I'm learning Dutch.
A song you love at the moment.
Bisexual, de Rebecca Lane y Audrey Funk.
Someone you find hot.
Toquicha.
A content you'd recommend.
Your podcast.
Thank you. One big wish you have.
Better conditions of music for a job.
And your mood right now?
Like after psychotherapy.
Thank you so much, Maria, for your time and for helping make queer voices louder.
Thank you, Eli. It's a very big pleasure for me, and also very interesting opportunity, very nice opportunity. Thank you for doing this job about interest in the life of persons.
Thank you
our
so
community
much.
is super valuable. This content, no, because you are doing contention to the people. No?
Thank you,
Thank
Maria.
you.
Ciao.
Ciao.